For my blackness, giving rhyme or reasons. Black all the time, no matter the time of season. We spice up everything and add our flavor, we the seasoning. Hated by many, but admired by most. We the baddest from the US to the Ivory Coast. We don't have to exert our power, we just simply ghost. We've been put down, let down, and hung out to dry. But through all of it, we still keep our heads to the sky. Black forever, forever. I'm unapologetically black. We rise like unapologetic, yeah, we're the chosen. From the streets to the stage, the power's awoken. Black magic in our veins, feel the motion. Warriors of change, pushing through every notion. No chains can hold us, we break through like oceans. Educate, elevate, that's our devotion.
Another Queen Ahmadiyyah production.
I'm unapologetically black for all rhymes and reason. I give no apologies for my blackness, giving rhyme or reasons. Black all the time, no matter the time of season. We spice up everything and add our flavor, we the seasoning. Hated by many, but admired by most. We the baddest from the US to the Ivory Coast. We don't have to exert our power, we just simply ghost. We've been put down, let down, and hung out to dry. But through all of it, we still keep our heads to the sky. Black forever, forever. I'm unapologetically black. Still pushing through the struggle, can't keep us down. Voices loud from the underground to every town. Shades of excellence, ain't no hiding, won't back down. From the roots to the US, in the city's crown. Stay shining bright despite the hate they lay. Our culture's fire burns strong night and day. Black forever, the spirit won't decay. Raise the banner high, cause we here to stay. Sally, stay shine, but blue in the level I charge, so I cry, Sally. Angel, you command, your thoughts are demands, and it's turn on Sally. I'm unapologetically black for all rhymes and reason. I give no apologies for my blackness, giving rhyme or reasons. Black all the time, no matter the time of season. We spice up everything and add our flavor, we the seasoning. Hated by many, but admired by most. We the baddest from the US to the Ivory Coast. We don't have to exert our power, we just simply ghost. We've been put down, let down, and hung out to dry. But through all of it, we still keep our heads to the sky. Black forever, forever. I'm unapologetically black. We rise like unapologetic, yeah, we're the chosen. From the streets to the stage, the power's awoken. Black magic in our veins, feel the motion. Warriors of change, pushing through every notion.
Black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blacker than black, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blacker than black, and I'm black, y'all. I'm blickety black, blacker than black, I'm blacker than black.
All right. Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the original Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur show. I'm your host, Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur, and this is your Daily Vitamins. So as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. All right. Hello, Juju. Claudette's here. Gwendolyn, Pretty Wings is in the house. Terry, Kyla. Okay, Nessa G. Shout out to all of my loyal royals and everyone tuning into the Queen. And a big shout out to my moderators for putting in work. Okay, I apologize for being late. All right, I had too much going on. Hey, Khalid. All right, Sweet D's in the house. Lillian X. Erlene is here. Okay, so before we get started, let's have, I see you, Truth Montage. Let's have a brief word from my sponsor at 12 Tribes.
Do not buy 12 Tribes on Earth hair growth oil and hair magic elixir unless you want super healthy, gorgeous hair that grows. They have a whole line of amazing hair growth products, including hair growth leave-in conditioner spray, hair growth shampoo, hair growth spray, and hair growth butter. I'm starting to sense a theme here. They include quality natural ingredients. They smell amazing, and you can see the results for yourself. So if you're looking for healthy hair growth for your natural or relaxed hair, try 12 Tribes on Earth today.
Okay, so don't forget you can purchase 12 Tribes oil for your hair at Etsy.com. You can also find it at Walmart.com. Now on Etsy, just look for Lisa Crafts. And don't forget for the men that she also has a lovely beard oil. Okay, so with that all being said, honey, Lord have mercy, Shannon. The bad news just continues to come out, y'all. It continues to come out. And you know, Shannon is probably going to end up like Diddy. with more lawsuits being filed, who knows? This is all going real bad, real quick. Okay, please pay attention, honey. Now, Jason Whitlock has come out and given his thoughts on it. Okay, a lot of people are coming out and giving their thoughts and points of view. All right, so we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about what Trump has going on, honey. Trump is out here just lying, honey, straight playing in our faces, telling all these lies, and he's getting called out on all fronts. I don't know who he thinks he's fooling. Okay, as if we can't walk into the grocery stores and see that eggs cost $200 a carton. Okay, please pay attention. Now, with that all being said, let's talk about it, because I uploaded a video earlier where there was an insider who has alleged that Mr. Sharpe was banned from ESPN. Okay, that was the allegation. But now, Queen, you got pictures of twins up, says Claudette. Honey, you know he looks like Miss Netta. And the funny thing is, I'm glad you brought that up, because here's the thing. The fact that Shannon looks like Miss Netta is funny, but what's even more ironic is the fact that if Shannon, in my opinion now, I can substantiate this, but if Shannon was living his true life, if he was living in his truth, I think that he would look even more like Miss Netta, if you catch my drift. Okay, so I'm just saying, I'm just saying, but anyway, so now it has come out, they're saying that, basically, he's taken a step away from his ESPN duties. All right, no less. That's what the news is. Shannon Sharpe to step away from ESPN duties amid ongoing lawsuit. Oh, and here's what they say. Shannon Sharpe has said that he will be temporarily, honey, let me put on my spectacles so I don't miss a beat. Okay, so Shannon Sharpe says he will temporarily take time away from his role on ESPN after being sued for assault, sexual assault, battery, and sexual battery. He denies all the allegations in the lawsuit filed on Sunday by an anonymous woman and her attorneys. Well, we know that it's Busby, who's her attorney, and her name is Gabriella Zuniga. Okay, so anyway, Sharpe plays a prominent part on ESPN's morning sports debate, First Take. He says, I will be devoting this time to my family and responding and dealing with these false and disruptive allegations set against me. I plan to return to ESPN at the start of the NFL preseason. This is what he said in a statement Thursday. Honey, I doubt that very seriously. I mean, it's wishful thinking, but I don't see it happening. This looks like his career is on life support as far as I'm concerned. I don't see how he's going to bounce back. Now, the Pro Football Hall of Famer concluded by thanking his family, fans, and friends for their support. Following Sharpe's announcement, ESPN said in a statement, this is a serious situation, and we agree with Shannon's decision to step away. Now, you may remember that the other day I played you Stephen A. Smith's commentary, what he had to say about his thoughts on Shannon, this entire debacle, and when he spoke to Shannon's boss, what they told him, because they basically said that they're going to be looking into this very seriously and conducting a whole thorough investigation. So Sharpe's legal representatives previously told CNN the lawsuit was an attempt to shake down the popular podcaster for millions of dollars, and said he categorically denies all allegations of coercion or misconduct. Now, in the suit filed in the Los Angeles District Court, Jane Doe accuses the popular host of Club Shay Shay of manipulating and controlling the plaintiff during a nearly 2-year period that started in 2023 as a consensual relationship when the woman was 20 years old. Now, I want you all to pay attention to something too, because in the audio that we listened to, where she told Shannon that she asked him, she told him not to try to manipulate her. And if you remember, Leon said the only good looking thing about him is his teeth. Okay. And they're probably fake. Okay. For just being honest. But anyway, the thing is, he told her if she used that word again, okay. The writer said, Lord, the queen has Miss Netta on the thumbnail. Yes, honey. I mean, you can't tell them apart. Please pay attention. So, because Shannon probably dresses like Miss Netta in private. I'm waiting for that to come out next, okay? And then I'm waiting for Hollywood, his former assistant or stylist, to come out and give us some more dirt. But anyway, aside from all of that, the young lady told him not to try to manipulate her. And then Shannon said, if you use that word again, I'm going to effing choke you. Now, that's something that I really paid attention to, because clearly he was obviously, in my opinion, and I can't substantiate any of it, but I believe that he may have been in the habit of manipulating her. Okay, because why would she be using that word on a regular basis? He said, if you use that word again. So she likely was using it all the time. Okay, Gwendolyn said, Queen, his teeth is fake. I mean, I figured. I mean, it's just, I mean, I figured they were fake because, quite frankly, if the Most High is going to give you a face like that, what's the point of giving you nice teeth? I'm just saying. But anyway, I digress. So let's go back to the point of discussion. Okay, so anyway, goes on to say the civil complaint alleges that Sharpe violently assaulted an anally raped plaintiff in October of 2024 and again in January of this year in Las Vegas, Nevada, blatantly ignored her request for him to stop. Now, let me tell y'all something. I believe this. I absolutely believe it. Okay, I absolutely believe that's what he did. Deronda said he got a mouthful of chiclets, honey, okay? But here's the thing. I actually believe that he did it. Because think about this. If a man is on the DL and he really likes backdoor play and all that stuff, then when he's doing something with this woman or with a woman and he's behind them, well, I just feel like that is what they would try to do. I mean, if that's what you like to do, but you don't want nobody to know that's what you like to do, I mean, that means you're on the DL. But when you go to those bathhouses or wherever you go to get your manly pleasures with the men or whatever, you know, the bussy, when you go do that, I'm not saying Shannon did any of this. I'm just making a point. Okay, please follow. So if you are in the habit of getting bussy, badussy, whatever you want to call it, from a man, and now you're having these relations with a woman, well, I would assume that you probably get back there and try to do the same thing to her that you do to those men, or that you know what I'm saying? Because clearly it's not normal, and y'all know it's the truth. It's not normal for a heterosexual man to always want to go to the back door. I mean, I think it's sketchy to even want to go there, period, if you're heterosexual. Because to me, everybody has a back door. Everybody has a back door. So if you like back doors, you know, I'm just saying. I mean, that's just how I see it. That's just how I see it. Juju be saying. Juju said Shannon be in bussy heaven. Ooh, honey. Sweetie said that big rooter tooted up. Say it ain't so. I mean, that's what I'm saying, honey. Can you imagine as big as Shannon is, honey, and tooted up, honey? I don't even want to think about it. Please don't mention that again, okay? Let me just have a sip. No, ma'am, and no, sir. I don't want to see any of that, okay, ever, under anybody's, by no stretch of anyone's imagination. So anyway, goes on to say, the suit states that after many months of manipulating and controlling plaintiff, a woman more than 30 years younger than he, and repeatedly threatening to brutally choke and violently slap her, Sharpe refused to accept the answer no and raped plaintiff despite her sobbing and repeated screams of no. When asked if Jane Doe had contacted police during or after the alleged assaults, the plaintiff's attorney, Tony Busby, said he could not comment. Okay, now the attorney told CNN, it takes a great deal of courage to stand up against those with power, fame, and money. I look forward to pressing this case in court. Let me tell y'all something, honey. Y'all don't get it twisted. They're going to have to give up this money. Not Tony Busby. Shannon Sharpe is going to have to pay Tony Busby and Gabby. He's going to have to come out the pocket. And let me tell y'all something. Tony Busby knows it, honey, because Tony Busby is like, honey, y'all might have got me on one. I might have fumbled the bag, but honey, I ain't fumbling this one. Okay, I got receipts. Tony Busby is letting out the audio, honey, the text messages, and you name it. Okay? Measure Man said, no weapon formed against me. Deronda said, bussy popping on a handstand. Okay? You already know. I said the same thing. I bet Shay can pop that bussy on a handstand. From the sounds of it, I think he could too. Now, then it goes on to say that when asked if Jane Doe had contacted police, okay, he couldn't answer that. Tony Busby couldn't. And then Sharpe's attorney, Lanny J. Davis, and by the way, Sharpe's attorney, Lanny J. Davis, is good friends, supposedly, with Don Lemon. Okay, Don Lemon, because I was watching Don Lemon's podcast earlier on YouTube just to see his thoughts on it, because I feel like him and Shannon are friends. So I wanted to see what he was going to say. If he was going to be biased, if he was going to, what he was going to say, if he was going to try to be politically correct. And while he was talking, giving his commentary, he got a text from Shannon's attorney, Lanny J. Davis, because he said it. He said, this is Shannon's attorney texting me right now, honey. I was waiting. And he told the man to call him and let him know something. But the guy said, oh, I can't do that right now. I have to get permission from the other attorneys or something. So Don was like, get the permission, honey. I wanted to hear it. So hopefully he'll talk about whatever he was told later. So anyway, Lanny Davis, okay, Sharpe's attorney Lanny J. Davis said the woman is attempting to blackmail his client and that the pair's relationship was consensual and sexual in nature, and in many cases initiated by her with specific and graphic requests. Now, this seems absolutely true as well, because we did already look over the text messages that Shannon and his attorney released right after the lawsuit was filed. So we did see we did see the text messages, and she was saying some very salacious things, talking about baby gravy and big black and this and that. Y'all know what she was saying. So it was clearly that type of relationship, but at some point it must have gone left, according to her. So Davis said Sharpe looks forward to vindication through the due process and a judgment based on the facts and the law. The complaint is seeking compensatory and punitive damages of more than $50 million. The Pro Football Hall of Famer was inducted as part of the class of 2011. He was drafted by the Denver Broncos in 1990 and retired following the 2003 season as the NFL's all-time leader in catches, yards, and touchdowns by a tight end. Okay, Shannon won 2 Super Bowls with Denver and then another while a member of the Baltimore Ravens. He has a very extensive resume. He has lots of accolades, honey. And unfortunately, he has now tarnished all of that with his own alleged nefariousness. Okay. So anyway, so what do y'all think? But let's go to they say, oh, here's another thing too. They said America turns against Shannon Sharpe after vile details of the grave accusation drip from an explosive lawsuit. Okay, this came out. Let me see. This is the Daily Mail reporting. So anyway, they're just going in on him. I'm just going to read you some of the comments that people are saying about him online. Somebody says, too soon, Shay, way too soon, champ. And I guess this is in response to him coming out and saying something. Somebody said, the fact that he left the comments on lets me know that he's going to be all right. One person wrote in a response to his Instagram post. That's after he made that statement. Okay, many others, however, seem to be swayed by the negative press surrounding the lawsuit, saying, trying to go on like he ain't bothered. He knows when he gets home, he be punching the air at night, LOL. Somebody said, you need to sit down and address your stuff first, Unc. Bet your old tail leave them fast young white girls alone now. Shaking my head, okay? Honey, he probably still won't learn. Okay, so anyway, somebody said, nah, this ain't it. I love Unc, but as the saying goes, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Then someone else says, Grandpa clearly doesn't listen to any of the wisdom that his guests give him. Somebody said, trying to go on like he ain't bothered. Okay, read that one already. Somebody said, leave the white women alone, Unc. I know some sisters that would have rocked your world for under $500. Really? Really, sir? That's what you're saying? And then, okay, so anyway, he basically said Tony Busby's targeting black men, honey. All right, so. But now let's go to what this ninja like his booty hole. Yeah, he does. That's what the lady said. Okay, so now let's go to what, where's that audio? Let's go to what Jason Whitlock had to say. Let me share my screen. So everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. I don't know how much this is because he was live on Instagram. We'll listen to some of it. He starts talking too much. I'll take it off. Now I'm going to put an overlay on here, even though it's on Instagram. You never know.
Don't think Shannon Sharpe's going to survive. The $10 million settlement offer, woo, that's a red flag. I'm hearing reports that we're going to start seeing reporting from other victims. I'm hearing reports. Stephen A. Smith started backpedaling away from Shannon Sharpe, put out a 20-minute video in full Deion Sanders-like backpedal. It seems like the sexual allegations are finally going to catch up with Shannon Sharpe, and he's going to be done. That's my prediction. We'll talk about it tomorrow on Fearless. Don't think Shannon Sharpe's going to survive.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think he's going to survive either. And people are slowly, withdrawing away from him. Now, they're talking about he's stepping away from ESPN. He's saying this is his choice. But, honey, I believe what the insider said, that ESPN has banned him. They don't want him around. And why would they? Okay? Why would they? This is a terrible look. I know Deion Sanders doesn't want to be around him at this point, because I sure wouldn't. But here's the thing. More dirt keeps coming out, because listen to this, honey. Okay, so they say that there was an incident. Now, remember, on yesterday, I told you all, you heard it here first, that there was at least 10 accusations, filings, or whatever pertaining to Shannon Sharpe over the past few years. Okay, there was an incident from 2004. I told you that I read to you from the article that said it was something going on in 1994. There seems to have been a myriad of bad behavior, prior bad acts, like they were talking about in the case of Diddy and Weinstein, that Shannon has allegedly probably engaged in, that were covered up. Okay, and likely because Shannon has been a very pivotal person to these different organizations he's been affiliated with, and also because of his status. I mean, a Hall of Famer. And, I did say that maybe they would take him out of the Hall of Fame, but, at the end of the day, OJ, I don't think OJ got taken out of the Hall of Fame, so they definitely wouldn't take Shannon out. So now, but here's the thing, though, that has come out now, and this is apparently something, in my opinion, that was covered up. Shannon Sharpe announced Thursday that he would temporarily leave ESPN while dealing with a lawsuit in which he was accused of sexual assault and rape. Now, also Thursday, Front Office Sports' Ryan Glassfield reported on a previously unreported incident that took place while Shannon Sharpe worked at FS1. Now, this was previously unreported, but why? Were they trying to hide it? Sounds like it. Now, before Sharpe's time at ESPN, when he was the co-host of FS1's Undisputed, he was accused. Now, listen to this. Okay, this pretty much, to me, verifies what these other women have said. It all sounds reminiscent. He was accused of choking a female production assistant in the workplace. Two sources with knowledge of the incident tell Front Office Sports this. Okay. Now, the specific timing of the incident was unknown. Shannon was the co-host of Undisputed alongside Skip Bayless from 2016 to 2023. Now, he began contributing to ESPN soon after leaving FS1. So one source told FOS that the settlement was for several $100,000. No lawsuit was filed over the alleged incident, but he did come out the pocket, allegedly, and had to pay a few $100,000. Now, a rep for Sharpe denied that the incident took place, telling FOS there was no incident of choking involving Shannon on FS1 set. On one occasion, he and a few colleagues were involved in some light physical altercation in a playful context. Yeah, I bet it was. Okay, please pay attention. That sounds like they're trying to what's the word? Like he's trying to minimize it. The attorney, of course. Now, Fox Sports later chose to resolve the matter privately. For further details, we recommend contacting Fox directly, they said. So a Fox Sports spokesperson declined to comment before FOS received the statement from Sharpe's representative and could not be reached for a follow-up request. Now, this alleged incident comes to light as Sharpe is dealing with a lawsuit filed Sunday by a woman identified as Jane Doe, and we already know the accusations. Okay, now they talk about how his lawyer, Lanny J. Davis, offered at least $10 million to settle the lawsuit before it was filed, but that was not an admission of guilt. And see, I wanted to hear Don Lemon talk to this man because I was hoping Don was going to ask him, but I want to know, why the hell did he come out and admit that they offered her $10 million? Okay. So anyway, they say this is a serious situation and we agree with Shannon's decision to step away. This is what ESPN said. Let me read the whole thing. While ESPN did not initially officially release a statement beyond Chairman Jimmy Pitaro's words shared by Stephen A. Smith on his personal podcast, Sharpe announced on Thursday that he would step aside temporarily from my ESPN duties and returned at the start of the NFL preseason. ESPN quickly followed that with a statement saying, this is a serious situation and we agree with Shannon's decision to step away. They, however, did not comment on Sharpe's plans to return eventually because they know he's not going to return. He's on the sidelines forever. Okay. Sharpe was also previously accused of sexual assault in 2010 and briefly stepped away from his role with CBS Sports. That's why it's over. It's done. This isn't his first time at the rodeo, is all I'm saying. Okay, he's had these things happen before. Okay, a restraining order was quickly redrawn and he returned to the NFL today. Sharpe denied those allegations as well. Okay, so they say he denied that as well. You know, on the cusp of making a major contractual agreement for $100 million. And then this happens. And not only will you not get the $100 million that you were negotiating or planning to get, which I doubt he'll get it. And so you likely won't get that. But then you may have to pay half of that. Okay, $50 million out of your pocket. I think this woman's gonna get every penny. Other allegations of him choking people, allegedly, her saying that he choked her or wants to choke her, him saying that he wants it. But here's the thing. Now they're trying to act as though this is all race play, like this is just role playing, like this is just what she wants, a big bad black man to come and choke her or whatever, because of the salacious things that were said in some of the text messages. But here's the problem. Measure Man said, I wonder if Jag was there. Okay, Measure Man, please stop. Y'all are nefarious. Here's the thing though. At the end of the day, the bottom line is this is all just a bad look. Even if these things weren't true, it's just so many little things that are all adding up. Okay, so it sounds very plausible, is all I'm saying. And the prior bad acts, if they do go to court for this civil case, the prior bad acts may be brought up into there. They may bring up what other people have said, what other people have done, and I'm pretty sure they will. So I don't know. What do you all think? Do you all think he can come back from this? Because I just don't see it. I don't see how it's possible. I don't even see that anybody even cares if he survives this. Maybe some of his close friends like Ocho Cinco, whomever, people there. But see, here's the thing. Ocho's tied to him in business. Okay? Ocho's tied to him in business. So, you know, and that's going to be bad for people that are affiliated with him in that aspect, because they're going to have to probably just let that end up going, honey, because I wouldn't touch Shannon with a 10-foot pole right about now. Okay? Even if I had been his friend, I wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole, especially after hearing him say certain things out of his own mouth. Now, was the audio edited? It likely was, because there were so many pauses. It could have been edited. But did he actually say those things? Okay? Panther Strike said he has a history of being a stalker and a creep. Yes, he absolutely does. He definitely is a creep, in my opinion. And, you know, here's the thing. Like I said, I'm waiting for more people to come out because I don't think this is the end of it. And I also think that Hollywood might come out and have a little something to say. I'm just sitting back and waiting because now it's going to be a whole mess. Okay? It's going to be a whole mess. Now, let's go to what the Breakfast Club had to say about Shannon. Let me make sure there's no music on this. Hold on here. Let me see. Okay, I'm not going to play that. They have music in the background. All they're talking about is the text messages, the raunchiness of the text messages that the young lady supposedly sent him. But here's the thing. I was just wondering what Charlemagne the devil had to say, because Charlemagne has had some accusations against him before. Okay. And I find it interesting because when stuff like this comes out, these accusations on different people come out, like Diddy, you know, just whoever. Charlemagne always has so much to say, but Charlemagne, boo-boo, you didn't get acquitted of anything. Okay, you just luckily didn't get really any consequences because the young lady's mother didn't want her to be traumatized by facing you at trial. Okay, but we've all heard what Charlemagne has said himself. Charlemagne is no different than them, as far as I'm concerned. Is no different than Diddy or a Shannon Sharpe. Okay, if we just really are keeping it a buck, nobody ever canceled him though. Do y'all see how this works? Nobody ever canceled Charlemagne the Devil. And we all know what he has said out of his own mouth. And even when he said that he gave his wife something before they were married, when they were on a date. So I'm just saying he's nefarious too, in my opinion. Laverne said all these essays and backdoors, Santa's being exposed. Okay, I know, honey, it's all nefarious. It absolutely is, honey. Thank you for your insight to the topic and your contribution to the channel. Peace, love, and blessings. Okay, so now let me speed up the process because I have a lot of things to cover and I don't want to be in here all day. So now let's talk about Lil Durk. Okay, Lil Durk is in the news. Let's get into it. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Hashtag free Lil Durk. Isn't that what y'all saying? Okay, so now here's some good news. They say Lil Durk converts 13 prison inmates to Islam as he awaits murder for hire trial. I mean, I know that kind of sounds crazy, but in the midst of ongoing legal troubles and time spent behind bars, Lil Durk is reportedly finding solace and strength in his faith and using it to inspire others. Now, according to his father, Dante Banks, better known as Big Durk, the Chicago rapper has embraced a spiritual leadership role during his incarceration, helping to guide fellow inmates toward Islam, the faith both father and son practice. Big Durk recently appeared on The Breakfast Club, where he shared a candid update on his son's mindset and spiritual growth while incarcerated, while acknowledging the challenges that come with federal imprisonment. He also emphasized the positive influence Durk has had on those around him. So being locked up is always going to have its effect on you, but you always bounce back and look at the greater picture. This is what his father said. He's definitely in their building. He was telling me that when he came in, it was 4 Muslims on the block. He said now it's 17 Muslims on the block. So he's in there converting. Durk's growing influence in prison underscores a dramatic shift in the rapper's approach to adversity, one that is rooted in resilient spirituality and community. His father, who has also served significant time in prison, explained the emotional weight of watching his son endure a similar experience, saying from being in there and knowing what he's up to or what he's up against, you run right there. So I can be with him to help him through this, because being in the feds ain't no small task. Okay, it's a big thing. They don't give you no room. They just snatch you up and put you in a hopeless situation. Well, sometimes we put ourselves in hopeless situations. Okay, please pay attention. It hurts to know that he has to go through what I just went through. It hurts real bad. First losing the older son to the streets and now losing him to the government. Well, this is what happens when you are a father, okay, a parent who engages in gang activity or a life of crime. I don't know if Durk's father was in a gang, but I think he probably was. And his name is Big Durk, okay? And he was in prison, spent a lot of time there. So I'm saying, like father, like son, when your kids see you doing certain things, they emulate those things. Most children, well, I'm not going to say most, but some children want to be like their parents. So if you have a parent who's just a gangbanger and that looks cool to you, well, it's no wonder you'd follow down that path. I mean, the father sitting here saying he hates to see it, but at the end of the day, what did you do to prevent him from following in your footsteps? Okay, I get sick and tired of these Negroes and these Black folk who are gangbangers at the age of 50 and 60, still in the gang, still praising, okay, and admiring the gang life and culture. And then their children are caught up in this and then could be doing so much more with their life. They've accomplished so much with their talents and raised or acquired so much money and wealth, and even in some instances giving back to their community, but still they can't escape the street life because that has indoctrinated them. Just as some people are indoctrinated into Christianity and other things or whatever, or fall into cults and things like that, people are too indoctrinated into the street life. Okay? And parents who are in gangs are a big problem or a big part of that, as far as I'm concerned. So for his father to be sitting here acting like he's so forlorn, well, sir, you should have done a better job at raising your son and keeping your life on track so that you could be an example for him. Okay? Because our parents are our first teachers. And that's just what it is. But anyway, let me continue. He said it just hurts so bad. First losing the older son to the streets and now losing him to the government. That's why I'm there hands-on with lawyers, hands-on with him, telling him every step of what to do now and how to fight this. Let me tell you something. Now, this man sounds crazy as hell. Now, I know some of y'all probably think, oh, he's an OG. He's laying it down. He's telling this. Honey, he sounds stupid as hell to me because you're now telling him what to do, how to fight this, how to fight federal charges, okay? Conspiracy to murder, that's what you're teaching him? Sir, why did you teach him how to be a young man who's trying to do something lucrative, beneficial, and productive with his life rather than leading his son down a road of self-destruction? Because that's what you did. Okay, now you see he's up here fighting for his life, you know, so he doesn't end up with a life sentence or whatever. And you try to tell him how to fight that, honey. You could have prevented all of this, as far as I'm concerned, if you really wanted to be a good parent. But now, see, this is really pissing me off because it sounds to me like the father's praising himself. Like he's acting like, yeah, I'm doing it. You know, I'm his father. I'm by his side. Yeah, I'm right here down here with the lawyers. I'm 10 toes down. I'm standing on business. Sir, if you were 10 toes down and you were really standing on business, your son wouldn't be in this predicament likely, okay? 9 times out of 10. So anyway, goes on to say, Durk has been charged in a sweeping indictment stemming from a murder for hire plot and vengeance of his late childhood friend and artist King Von. Rest in peace, King Von. He was a killer too, honey. But anyway, who was murdered in 2020 during a physical altercation with rival rapper Quando Rondo and his entourage. Durk is alleged to have ordered a hit on Rondo that ultimately led to the death of Rondo's cousin, Lil Pab, in 2022. You know, this is all such a waste of life. This is all so damn sad. This is all just egregious. Okay? This is all just egregious. Because here's why. For one, Star Child said King Von was a serial killer. Honey, I believe he was. I mean, they said he killed like 7 people. They said he killed like 7 people. If King Von wasn't dead, he would likely be headed to the slammer too. Okay, because all the stuff they've dug up on him since he's been dead, honey, he would likely be headed to prison too. Okay, so it's just a sad to see. And the father sitting up here patting himself on the back like he really did something. Sir, please have several seats. Okay, please have several seats. All right, so anyway, honey, this is all nefarious. And I'm going to share a clip of this. Let you all hear some of this audio. Hold on, let me. Okay, I'm gonna let you all hear some of this so y'all can hear this man, honey. This is Lil Durk's father. Let's see what he's talking about. I'm gonna put an overlay on top of this because clearly I don't have permission to be using these people's stuff. He's sitting here acting like he's just doing the damn thing. Honey, please, sir, you should have been doing the damn thing a long time ago. That's all I'm saying.
You know, you see you're wrong. So I'll never want to have my sons to go down that road. But at the same time, he don't go down that road. He just go down the road which rap and different things like this put him in the same category, but just a little different, you know. Mm-hmm. They still saying, hey, you might not be selling drugs, you might not be doing these things right here, but they look at a rapper the same way. You know.
I also, you know,
this is ludicrous.
Ludicrous. All right, who called for ludicrous?
I want to.
Now, let me say something to that. He says they look at a rapper the same way. Oh, sir, no, they don't. Okay, they don't look at rappers the same way just because they're rappers. Okay, now you see how he tried to slide that in, trying to minimize his son's culpability. Your son is involved in gang culture. He's involved in the street life. Now, I don't know if he did what he's accused of, but they do have receipts and they do have an informant and do have audio and all of that, and they do have some other things. But at the end of the day, sir, your son is not just a rapper, apparently. Okay, according to reports in the indictment. Now, if it was just about people being rappers that the feds were looking at them just for that, why aren't they harassing Cardi B, Meg Thee Stallion, Glorilla? Okay, they're from the streets too. Okay, they had shady past, some of them. Cardi worked at the strip club and all of that. So I'm just saying, why aren't the feds looking at them? Cardi even admitted to a crime, okay, of giving men substances to put them out so she could steal their money. You don't see the feds looking at them. So I'm just saying, let's not act like just because people are in the rap business, this is why they're being targeted. No, they're being targeted in many cases because they're doing illegal things that they did in the streets Okay, while they were standing on corners and all of that, they're still doing those things. Okay, that's right. Deronda said Dusty Red. Okay. So anyway, let him continue.
To ask about his case so much because the Durk that we knew, that I knew personally, he was such into giving back, right? He would call all the time about the things that he wanted to do for Chicago and the area that he grew up in and the things that he wanted to change and how he wanted to give kids an opportunity that they would think more than the street and have things to do. So with his organization, is his organization still out there being able to help, or is a lot of those funds and things been pulled from that?
Absolutely, Envy. So this goes back to 2020. You know, this didn't just happen yesterday.
Mhm.
You know, sitting down with Dirk Banks. You know, I remember the day when he was like, "Kev, you know, this is my vision. This is what I want to do."
Yeah, he wanted to do that, but apparently he wants to do some other things too, sir. Please, let's not just try to clean it all up, okay? And act like he's just a little angel, because he isn't, and that's just the fact of the matter. Okay, 100 Black Ray Oak says, I left hip-hop in 1999 because it flipped to something else. I heard of King Von, though. Oh, honey, we all heard of King Von, honey. He was clearly nefarious, handsome though he was. Okay, but thank you for your insight into the topic and your contribution to the channel, beloved. Peace, love, and blessings. Hold on. Laverne said Cardi gave us lightweight nefariousness. She's something else. She damn sure did, honey.
Because he was already doing the work. He's like, okay, but let's do it for real, for real. And we say for real, let's get a registered 501c3 and let's really, truly, you know, look at the impact that we can make. And one thing that we landed on, and still to this day, is like, Dirk, this is your vision. This is your vision, and it's going to be our jobs. When I say our jobs, my job, the board of directors and those that support, we're going to help bring it to life. And to be able to look back and see from 2020 and all the amazing work that he's done. And as you know, in media, you know, a lot of folks don't want to talk about the great things and the positive things that individuals are out here doing. And he didn't do it for that. He did it for the.
At the end of the day, listen, they said nobody wants to talk about the good things he did. Here's the thing. When you do good things, they can very easily and quickly be overshadowed by bad things. So nobody's going to talk about the good things because all the bad stuff's come out. Okay. And it's really sad because when he did that song All My Life and he had the kids out there, it was really a touching and pulled at your heartstrings. It made it look like he's changed his life around, giving back to the community and all of that. And I was proud of him. But then this happens. And you realize that sometimes, no matter how much money and fame people acquire, they just cannot shake the past. They just cannot shake the life that they were living before. It goes back to that old saying I used to hear when I was a kid. You can take the person out of the ghetto, but you can't take the ghetto out of them. That's what it sounds like to me. Okay, I'm sorry that he's going through this stuff, but, you know, honestly, he brought it on himself. I mean, they really have the receipts on him, and it's really not looking good. But anyway, let's continue because he may be able to get bail. Okay, let's talk about it because what they say is Lil Durk finally gets good news in his murder for hire case thanks to his judge. So Lil Durk is still trying to get out of his federal murder case for hire or murder for hire case. And he finally got an answer from the court to show for it. According to sources, he might receive even better news in the future following a judge's new ruling. So on Wednesday, April 23rd, a Los Angeles federal judge, reportedly approved the defense's motion to hold a hearing on the Chicago rapper's detention status. Now, Judge Patricia Donahue scheduled a May 8th meeting at the U.S. District Court for the Central District of California to reconsider his conditions of release. Not only that, but Lil Durk's legal team offered a new bail package to potentially appease the court and the prosecution. Now, this reportedly includes $900,000 in real estate equity, $1 million in cash from Alamo Records, $150,000 from a business associate, around-the-clock private security, and strict supervision via electronic monitoring and other methods. Okay, so that's a lot. Not as much as what Diddy was offering, though. Please pay attention. Diddy was offering like $50 million. So anyway, the defense argues these conditions mitigate flight risk and dangers to the public. We will see what the court concludes. Now, for those unaware that clearly have been living under a rock, if you don't even know who Lil Durk is a rapper who was best friends with King Von. He put King Von on. King Von was murdered in November of 2020 when he got into a fight with a rival, Quando Rondo, okay, after he saw him at a club or whatever. And then he was consequently shot and killed during the fight, okay, by Quando Rondo's friend, Tim. Now, with that all being said, okay, Lil Durk was arrested last October on federal charges, according to prosecutors, because they say that he financed a hit on rival rapper Quando Rondo in 2022 in Los Angeles. Okay, now Quando was the one fighting King Von, and of course, Durk was, if he did this, they alleged that he was trying to get revenge for his friend's death. A 2022 shooting in LA took the life of Rondo's cousin, Lil Pab. Okay, so they didn't even kill the right person. The wrong person got killed. It was Quando Rondo's cousin. Now, however, the Deep Thoughts lyricist and his lawyers denied any and all accusations. They alleged the prosecution attempted to mislead the court through flimsy evidence, such as song lyrics and unapproved fan documentaries. Well, what about those receipts and the conversations with the informant? And what about the credit card and debit cards and stuff that was used, that was tied to him? I'm just asking, because all that was in the indictment. So on the front of song lyrics, the defense claims the prosecution's reference to the track Wonderful Wayne and Jackie Boy by Babyface Ray featuring Lil Durk is inaccurate. Allegedly, Durk recorded those lyrics 7 months before the 2022 murder that prosecutors have accused him of orchestrating. Now, even though prosecutors pointed to other videos as supposed evidence, the defense did not budge. They claimed that those recordings and conclusions were on behalf of fans and social media pages and do not reflect the actual facts that the Voices camp aims to maintain. So the court previously denied Lil Durk's bail in December of last year, saying there is no condition or combination of conditions that would reasonably assure the safety of the community. That's what the judge ruled back then, citing flight risk and his alleged negative influence on other violent criminal activity. So it's important to note that this new ruling does not automatically change the 32-year-old's release conditions, but he does at least have a chance, they say. So what do y'all think, honey? Okay, will Lil Durk get a shot at freedom? I don't know. I guess that all remains to be seen. Lights up, everyone. Please like and share it now. Let's talk about it, because China said Trump is chicken. Okay? That's what they said about y'all's president. They said Trump is a whole chicken, honey, and that the only reason he backed down is because he knew to do it, okay? They are not here for it. So China calls fake news on Donald Trump after he claimed the U.S. and China have talked every day about tariffs. They say any claims about the progress of trade negotiations are groundless, as trying to catch the wind. Y'all hear this? So they say Trump's out here lying his earth off. But that's not the only thing he's apparently lying about, honey. Trump's out here lying about everything, the cost of eggs and all. I mean, let's just get into it, honey. Okay? Because I absolutely cannot with this man. I absolutely cannot.
From the White House on the trade war with China, the president softening his rhetoric, but still pushing for a deal.
How soon do you want to bring the tariffs on Chinese goods?
Well, that depends on them.
Trump says the U.S. and China are in contact, quote, every day, but isn't offering any details on those talks.
We are going to have a fair deal with China. It's going to be fair.
Are you talking to them actively now?
Actively. Everything's active.
But this morning, China saying the two sides haven't consulted or negotiated at all. China has been defiant since Trump imposed his staggering 145% tariff on all Chinese goods imported into the U.S. A spokesman for the Chinese government signaling they're willing to talk, but that Trump has to change tactics if he wants a deal, saying our doors are open if the U.S. wants to talk. If a negotiated solution is truly what the U.S. wants, it should stop threatening and blackmailing China, adding to keep asking for a deal while exerting extreme pressure is not the right way to deal with China and simply will not work. For weeks, the president adamant his strategy is working.
I know what the hell I'm doing.
But the softer messaging from the White House comes as Trump's tariffs have rattled the economy, sparking fears of inflation and a possible recession. On Monday, representatives from Walmart, Target, and Home Depot meeting with the president, warning him his tariffs could soon cause empty store shelves in the U.S. This morning, a noticeable shift in tone from the White House on the trade war with China. The president softening his rhetoric, but still pushing for a deal.
Okay, so you all heard that. Trump's full of crap. Now let's go to the news report where they're talking about China saying that he chickened out. Okay, Trump said he know what he damn doing. What are y'all talking about, honey? Why are y'all hating? That's what he said. Please pay attention.
Out. At least that is what the Chinese are saying. I mean, that post with the viral hashtag Trump chicken out now has 150 million views in China and counting, after Trump all but caved to Xi Jinping.
We are going to have a fair deal with China. It's going to be fair.
Are you talking to them actively now?
Actively. Everything's active.
Mr. President, has there been any direct contact between the U.S. and China for trade at all?
Yeah, of course.
And
every day.
Every day and active. I mean, you know, the implication here, what it sounds like is there's a big deal. It's being worked on. Things are happening. We're moving forward. Well, the problem is that he was undermined in that sentiment and rhetoric by his own Treasury Secretary, who told reporters this morning that, quote, both sides are waiting to speak to the other. Waiting to speak to the other. I mean, that's the whole waiting by the phone thing that's been going on for weeks now. Of course, talking takes 2 seconds in a situation like this. If something real starts, it literally takes 2 seconds. In fact, the Chinese finance minister is in Washington, D.C. as I speak, yet we'll show him to you. He is there not meeting with the Trump team right now. But why did Trump put 145% tariffs on China only to back down? Why would that happen? I mean, because according to the Wall Street Journal tonight, Trump is considering major concessions, potentially slashing some tariffs on Chinese imports by more than half. And that's pretty incredible. To cut by more than half when you haven't even started negotiating means you are negotiating against yourself. And that comes as Trump sounds like a completely different person when it comes to Beijing. I mean, just listen to him over the past 24 hours.
We're doing fine with China. I'm not going to say, I'm going to play hardball with China. We're going to be very nice. We're going to be very good to China.
I mean, that rhetoric, good to China, nice to China, is radically different than what we have heard from Trump. I mean, radically different. And words matter here. Words have started this whole thing. Listen to what he said since the beginning of the trade war.
Look, for years we've been ripped off and taken advantage of by China. What other presidents allow China to get away with is absolutely criminal. China obviously treats us very badly. China's an abuser.
China's ripping off the United States for $1 trillion a year.
And that almost pales to what was online. I mean, dozens of posts like the ones we'll show you here. China's brutal to American farmers. China treats us the worst. China panicked. I mean, you know, you can read the missives. At this point, though, the side that seems to be panicking is the Trump side here. Which, you know, if these tariffs are being slashed like this, that is backing off. And the only reason that you're backing off is it is so odd is that the entire fight was picked by him to begin with, right? I mean, this wouldn't be even a thing if he hadn't started it. And China has so far not had to give up anything yet. So Beijing seems to be sort of in shock and not able to believe its luck. I mean, some of the things that are being said on Chinese social media, he's like a child who changes his stances instantly. Today's Trump beat yesterday's Trump. What will tomorrow's Trump do? But Trump's retreat is stunning because it does go against everything he has said, pretty much everything.
We've been ripped off for years, and we're not going to be ripped off anymore. No, I'm not going to bend at all. Aluminum or steel or cars, no exceptions, no nothing. We don't necessarily want to make a deal with them.
Would you be open to a pause in tariffs to allow for negotiations?
Well, we're not looking at them. I'm not going to make a deal.
No deal, no bending, no nothing, but then they're cut in half tonight. I mean, if that all wasn't clear enough, what you just heard there was this online, the 4 words, and this really sums it up, sums up why we are where we are. No exemptions, no exceptions. So when you look at what's happening tonight, maybe cutting it in half, that obviously is a complete and utter and total change of policy. It raises the question of whether Trump's words and his promises mean anything on the world stage. And billionaire GOP megadonor Ken Griffin tonight put it this way.
The United States was more than just a nation. It's a brand. It's a universal brand, whether it's our culture, our financial strength, our military strength. America rose beyond just being a country. It was like an aspiration for most of the world. And we're eroding that brand right now.
So why should other countries trust Trump, especially when they're out there saying this?
We've got 90 deals in 90 days possibly pending here.
90 deals in 90 days. There hasn't been one yet. The man behind the art of the deal, though, himself right now has no deals. There's no deals yet in that column. In fact, the only thing Trump may have to show right now are general agreements of understanding they talk about, which, of course, are agreements to talk more and eventually maybe come to an agreement. And yet loyalists like Stephen Miller write this, quote, "You've been watching the greatest economic master strategy from an American president in history."
Dad.
I'm sorry, it was muted. They seem to think that the more, and I'm talking about people in Trump's cabinet, like Stephen Miller's lying self, it seems like they seem to think that the more they sit up here and reiterate Trump's lies and talking points, that they're going to make us somehow believe the bullshit. But nobody's falling for it, okay? Please miss me with all of it. DSB says, "Queen, you started without me." Just kidding. Had a lot of errands to run, but I'm here for it, family. Thank you, beloved. I'm glad you tuned in, and thank you so much for your kind contribution to the channel. Peace, love, and blessings. I always appreciate you. Now, let's go to when they say, when they talk about Trump's U-turn, because quite frankly, China has the upper hand, okay? And we know that, and we knew that. All right, we knew that from day one, that Trump attempting to bully China was not going to work. And then let's not forget how J.D. Vance called those people peasants. Okay, you call them peasants, but they got one up on you clearly. Okay, they now have full advantage. Please pay attention, honey. And here's the thing. The only reason Trump walked it back, like I told you, is because his billionaire friends started going in on him, Elon included, okay? And then not to mention, he saw that China was not going to back down like he'd hoped. Okay, he saw they were not going to back down. And then he saw that they started telling other nations not to do any trade deals with the United States. And who do you think people are going to listen to around the world? Are they going to listen to a president like Xi Jinping? Or are they going to listen to a president like Trump? You already know the answer to that. Okay, that's not even up for discussion or debate. We already know. All right, we already know how that goes.
I'm not going to say, oh, I'm going to play hardball with China. I'm going to play hardball with you, President Xi. No. We're going to be very nice.
Well, that sounds like quite a climb down from President Trump compared to his previous very hardcore rhetoric and tactics towards China since he launched this trade war. I think many people, both inside and outside the Chinese government, would probably agree that without having to do anything, Beijing already seems to have the upper hand here, because in contrast to all the flip-flops and twists and turns from Washington, the Chinese have been standing their ground, saying they would fight this trade war to the very end, while not completely shutting a door for potential talks. They have been emphasizing they would not negotiate under any threats or pressure. Now, very interestingly, a deeply connected Chinese source told me just a few days ago that they would often notice President Trump sweet-talking about China, but only to have his cabinet members come out quickly to spew out these same hawkish or even hostile views towards China. And this source said, given Trump's total control over his people now, by not publicly rejecting these views, the president seemed to be condoning them. And that just runs counter to one of the three things they want to see from the White House before any trade talks could happen. And these things are sincerity, reciprocity, and most importantly, consistency.
We know that's one thing that Trump doesn't have is consistency, okay? He has no consistency, all right? If anybody does, it's China. Now, listen to this. Fact check, okay? Now, let's talk about these lies that he's been out here telling, okay? Please pay attention on it, all right? Fact check. Trump lies about the price of eggs, groceries, and gas. I mean, is anyone shocked? Okay, is anyone shocked? Now, over the last week, President Donald Trump has lied about the price of all of these things, using this repeated deception to try to minimize widespread concerns that his tariffs fuel inflation. Okay, I just have to keep telling you all that I told y'all this from day one, that it was going to fuel inflation and ruin the economy. And here we are. Gas. Okay, first of all, let's talk about the gas. Trump claimed that last Thursday, he claimed that gas prices hit $1.98 yesterday in a couple of states. Not he said a couple of states, honey. First of all, lies. Anybody paying $1.98 for gas? Raise your hand in the chat. Anybody paying $1.98 for gas? I'm waiting. Okay, nobody. Okay, I thought not. Trump's just a liar who lies. Okay, so then he says, they say he hit gas prices hit $1.98 yesterday in a couple of states. That wasn't true. Okay, no state had an average gas price below $2.70 per gallon on Wednesday. And according to data from AAA, which reported a national average of about $3.17 per gallon, right, and the lowest individual Wednesday price found by the firm Gas Buddy, which tracks tens of thousands of gas stations across the country, was $2.19 at a station in Texas. And honey, that was probably in a little remote corner of Texas. So the White House couldn't substantiate Trump's claim when CNN inquired, and it added a new false claim. Listen to this. It added a new false claim that gas prices in the middle America are at record lows. First of all, where in the hell is middle America? Does anybody know? Because I don't. Where the hell is middle America, y'all? Where is that at? I'm sorry. Am I there? Or if not, how do I get there? Anybody can help me. Okay, is there a map to take us all there? Trump is a liar who lies, but let me continue. So anyway, this is all nefarious. So he said middle America, that's what he said, had record lows. Then Trump said the next day that 3 states had hit $1.98 per gallon on Thursday. There was no basis for that either. The lowest AAA state average on Thursday was $2.70 per gallon, and Gas Buddy again found no station selling for less than $2.19 per gallon. See, the thing about Trump is he's one of those people who just tells lies for the hell of it, you know, because he thinks that people are so stupid. And sadly, some people are, and they usually are MAGA. Please pay attention. But he seems to think that people are so stupid, they're not going to fact check. They're not going to go look up. They're not going to do the research themselves. They're just going to listen to what he says. See, here's the problem. At the end of the day, we all know that he's a liar who lies, pathological liar at that. He's not a compulsive. He's not a habitual. Okay. He's a pathological liar. All right. He's the worst kind is all I'm saying. And so everybody with any sense should know not to listen and believe anything that he's saying. Okay. Now, with that all being said, goes on to say groceries. Let's talk about it. Trump claimed last Thursday and Friday that grocery prices are down, and then claimed Tuesday that they have come down. And that was false again. Okay. So average grocery prices in March were up about 0.49% from February, according to Federal Consumer Price Index data, which was the biggest month-to-month jump since October of 2022. Now, average grocery prices in March were also up to 2.41% from the previous March, and the biggest year-over-year jump since August of 2023. Okay, these increases happened before Trump imposed 10% tariffs in early April on imports from most countries, which are certain to raise prices for some grocery items. Okay, I mean, we already know how it goes. Trump is just so damn stupid. I don't even know what to say about him at this point. Okay, Measure Man says, a lie, don't care who tell it. Tell the truth and shame the devil. Is middle America like Missouri somewhere? Like BBCC? I'll take you there. Okay, I'm just wondering, honey. Thank you for your insight into the topic and your contribution to the channel. Peace, love, and blessings. Now let's talk about these eggs, okay? Egg prices have spiked over the past year amid a bird flu outbreak. Trump claimed Tuesday, as you know, the cost, this is what he said on Tuesday. As you know, the cost of eggs has come down like 94% since we took office. Say what now? That's what he literally said. As you know. Now, listen to this. Not only is Trump a liar, but the fact is, when he tells his lies, it's the way he frames them. Okay, he says things, words, he uses certain words with his lying so that it makes it seem more plausible, or to act as though this is crazy if you don't believe this. Like, you don't know this? You sound crazy. That's the kind of stuff he does. Because listen, he says, as you know, like we already know. Like I don't have to tell y'all because I know y'all already got the scoop. Child, please sit down, Trump. Okay, as you know, the cost of eggs has come down like 93, 94% since we took office. Wildly inaccurate. Okay, a whole damn lie. A decline of 93% or 94% from the national average consumer cost of a dozen large grade A eggs in January was about $4.95. Would mean that eggs are now costing consumers under 38 cents a dozen. Do you all hear this? Do you all hear this? Okay. RG Titan said people still eat eggs. RG Titan, sit down. You probably had eggs for breakfast. Talking about do people still eat eggs. Yes, they do, beloved. Okay. Nessa G said, I have hens, thank goodness. Honey, my cousin has chickens all over the yard. But anyway, honey, he lives down in rural Georgia. Hot Cocoa said Trump probably haven't been in a grocery store in years. How do you know he hasn't? He has not, okay? Songwriter Son said poor children resorted to die in marshmallows because Songwriter Son said poor children resorted to die in marshmallows because of the expensive eggs. Okay, honey, is that what they had in their Easter baskets? Okay, Adrian said, I'm in Brooklyn and eggs have been $5 for the past 2 weeks. Okay, see, this is what I'm saying. Lying, a 93 and 94% decrease Trump. That would make them 38 cents a dozen. Like, how stupid can one be? I don't know. As stupid as you can get, I guess. So clearly. Now, anyway, with that all being said, any grocery shopper can tell you that is nowhere close to true. In March, this national average price hit a record high of about $6.23 per dozen. Okay, it's very possible the April average is lower, just a little bit, a tad. But that data will be published in May, but clearly not nearly as low as Trump has said his lying self. Like, honey, Trump thinks all of us are crazy as hell. Okay, DSB said, I'll match you, measured man. Thank you, beloved. Thank you for your contribution to the channel. Peace, love, and blessings. And thank you too, measured man. I appreciate y'all. Okay, now, with that all being said, just lie for no reason. Okay, why does he think that we believe any of this foolishness? He doesn't even care, I guess. The White House has previously pointed to wholesale egg prices as evidence of improvement, though those aren't the prices consumers pay in stores. Wholesale eggs have declined substantially since late February, but again, not nearly as much as Trump claims. Now, as of Friday, the national wholesale price for a dozen large white eggs was $3.13, according to the U.S. Department of Agriculture, down from $6.55 as of Friday after Trump took office on January the 20th. Now, that's a decline of about 52%, not 93 to 94%, which is absolutely crazy. Okay, now, the White House couldn't substantiate Trump's 93 to 94% claim either. Instead, spokesperson Anna Kelly emailed CNN a comment on Wednesday that asserted egg prices are down significantly under Trump because of his efforts to fight bird flu. Child, please sit down somewhere. Trump ain't fighting a damn thing, okay? That's not what he's doing. That's what he's not doing. But hold on. Let's go to Al Gore. Dragging Trump, honey. Yep. I haven't heard from Al Gore in decades. Have y'all heard about it? Because a fiery Al Gore ripped into Trump, honey, over Constitution. Okay, our Constitution written by our founders, he said. Let's hear this, honey, because I ain't heard Al Gore say too much in about 20 years, and I'm not even joking. Okay? Queen Sam said, tell him to ask those farmers who's about to lose their family and farms. Okay? Sad day in America, honey. Please pay attention.
Constitution written by our founders is intended to protect us against a threat identical to Donald Trump, someone who seeks power at all costs to get more power. Our Constitution, written by our founders, is intended to protect us against a threat identical to Donald Trump.
Not a threat identical to Donald Trump, honey. Please pay attention. Y'all heard it. Donald Trump is definitely a threat, but hold on, because here's the thing now. Now, I want you all to pay attention. Since China went in on his behind, Trump is about to leave tariffs alone. Pretty soon, there'll be a thing of the past. You won't even hear him talking about it, because right now, Trump's attacking the Department of Education. He's turned his focus elsewhere, is all I'm saying, because China let him know what time it was and let him know that we're not playing with you, okay? You trying to bully us, but you're the chicken? Please pay attention. 3 judges, including 2 Trump appointees, rule against the Department of Education's anti-DEI policy. So President Donald Trump's efforts to crack down on diversity, equity, and inclusion programs suffered a major legal blow Thursday as 3 separate judges, 2 of them appointed by the president, ruled against a Department of Education policy that threatened to withhold federal funding for schools engaging in DEI or incorporating race in certain ways in many other aspects of student life. The policy was first laid out in a so-called Dear Colleague letter sent to schools in February. Starting this month, schools receiving federal funding will be subject to certain certification mandates requiring that they turn over information regarding their compliance with the Trump administration's prohibitions. Okay? Trump thinks he is doing it all. Okay? He thinks he's just running everything and everybody. U.S. District Judge Landja McCafferty said in a scathing opinion that the administration's policy was textbook viewpoint discrimination, likely violating the First Amendment's free speech protections. She and another judge, U.S. District Judge Dabney Friedrich, a Trump appointee, also concluded that the policy was likely unconstitutionally vague. See, Trump's going to be pissed off at that judge because he's like, I appointed you for you to be on my side, for you to go along with everything and anything I say, for you to bow down and kiss this ring. What the hell are you doing going against me? I'll have you arrested. Okay, you know how Trump gets down. He's probably gonna try to have them brought up on some charges like he did Letitia James, honey. If y'all don't think Trump was behind Letitia James being investigated, honey, y'all better think again. Okay, I absolutely believe he was. But anyway, she also concluded that the National Education Association, the administration's opponent in the case, was likely to succeed in its arguments that the policy was unconstitutionally vague and that the agency ran afoul of procedural steps required by law in how it implemented the policy. Honey, we all know by now Trump don't give a damn about the Constitution. No, what Constitution he says, okay? The ban on DEI embodied in the 2025 letter leaves teachers with a Hobson's choice. Okay, McCafferty, a Barack Obama appointee who sits in New Hampshire, wrote, noting that the educators must choose between teaching curricula that invites penalty from the federal government or risking their professional credentials by aiding the Trump policy. Okay, the Constitution requires more, she says. Friedrich, a Trump appointee who announced her ruling after a hearing Thursday in Washington, D.C., said that the letter failed to delineate between a lawful DEI practice and an unlawful one, making the task of reviewing compliance too difficult. Now, the third ruling against the policy came from Judge Stephanie Gallagher, a Trump appointee who sits in Baltimore. She found that the Dear Colleague letter ran afoul of procedural requirements required by law for implementing new agency policy, saying this court takes no view as to whether the policies at issue here are good or bad, prudent or foolish, fair or unfair. Okay, but this court is constitutionally required to closely scrutinize whether the government went about creating and implementing them in the manner the law requires, and the government did not. Okay, the ruling comes after the Trump administration reached a short-term agreement with the challengers in the New Hampshire case to pause enforcement of the policy while the judge considered whether to issue a preliminary injunction. That agreement was set to expire on Thursday. Trump has waged war on DEI efforts since the start of his second term and has taken action against several elite universities demanding changes to their DEI programs. The administration has already rolled back DEI programs, arrested international students and revoked their visas, and frozen federal funding for schools that have refused to submit to his demands. Honey, Trump's doing the damn most, okay? I'm telling you right now, he needs to be arrested, okay? Not only impeached, but arrested, honey, and thrown in somebody's cell. I'm sorry, it's true. Now, the administration froze over $2 billion in multi-year grants and contracts at Harvard University after its leaders refused to make key policy changes, including eliminating DEI. And I told you all this days ago. including eliminating DEI programs, resulted in a clash over academic freedom, federal funding, and campus oversight as Harvard sued the federal government. Policy changes were also demanded by Columbia University, though the school later announced several changes to address the Trump administration's demands because they didn't want any smoke, okay, and apparent concession to the federal government. Honey, they just threw up the white flag and said, look, we're going to do whatever you say. We don't want no drama, and we need those funds, okay? Now, the NAACP, which filed the case in D.C.'s federal court, said Friedrich's ruling is a victory for Black and brown students across the country whose right to an equal education has been directly threatened by this administration's corrosive actions and misinterpretations of civil rights law. The group representing the teachers associations and public school district that sued over the policy in Baltimore also celebrated the ruling there, saying this ruling is a win for educators, students, and communities across the nation. Democracy Forward President and CEO Sky Perriman said the nationwide injunction will pause at least part of the chaos the Trump administration is unleashing in classrooms and learning communities throughout the country. Okay, I want y'all to pay attention because here's the thing. Like I said, he's now attacking these colleges and whatnot. But the bottom line is, you know, a few years ago, I want to say it was in 2018. How many of you remember, by show of ones in the chat, remember that in 2018, it was reported that the most educated people in the United States were Black women? Do you all remember that? Do you all remember that? That Black women were the most educated group in the United States. Now, somebody tried to argue with me one time when I was talking about this on Facebook. They were trying to say, oh, no, it's the Asians. No, honey, it's not. Okay, at that time, it was Black women. So I feel, see, a lot of you are putting ones. Okay, great. So with that all being said, you know, I think that Trump attacking DEI has something to do with that. Okay, I think it has something to do with that, with Black people in general, you know, being more invested in going to college and getting higher education these days. Trump sees that and doesn't like it, and neither do the people in his cabinet because they're all haters. Okay, they don't want Black people being educated and have these high-ranking positions or whatever. They just don't, and these Latinas either. Okay, they really don't want them doing it. Black and brown people, but sadly, Black and brown people can't even get along ourselves. We have Latinas who don't like us, don't realize that we all have the same African heritage, okay, or whatever. And it's just crazy because until we all can stick together, all of the people that come, you know, from the same background, all of the people of African ancestry, okay, whether you're from Trinidad, Jamaica, wherever, until all of us can come together collectively, we're all going to always be oppressed. And it's really ignorant that we can't figure that out yet. I mean, I know it and some of you know it, but it's ignorant as hell that collectively we all haven't figured that out yet. I mean, J. Edgar Hoover literally told us this. Okay, he literally said it. The biggest threat to the United States is Negro unity. Why would that be the biggest threat? Why wouldn't they say a nuclear bomb? Why wouldn't they say famine? Why wouldn't they say a civil war, World War III? No, they said Negro unity. And you know, that should let us know how powerful we are. We control the spending. We spend trillions of dollars yearly on their bullshit, their name brand clothes, on their holidays. Pagan holidays that we shouldn't even be celebrating. We spend our money in all the wrong places and have nothing left to establish for ourselves and family any generational wealth. Struggling to send your kids to college, but you're paying for theirs to go to college. I keep telling y'all this. It's just all crazy to me, and I just really wish everybody would just wake the hell up. But, you know, we won't. And then here's the thing I want you all to pay attention to. Somebody asked me yesterday about the Pope, about do I think there'll ever be a Black Pope? And I told them I really don't care. I think Lillian asked me that if I'm not mistaken. But do y'all know they wouldn't even let Africans or denied access to bid the Pope farewell? That's why, honey, I don't be giving a damn about the Vatican. I don't be caring what they got going on, okay? They don't even want to let them Black folk see the Pope or bid him farewell, honey. Please pay attention. And see, that's what I'm talking about, honey, because I don't really give a darn if they bring back segregation. Because as far as I'm concerned, there's still segregation. Okay? There's still segregation because they don't let y'all go where they don't want you to go. That's what they don't do. They don't let y'all go where they don't want you to go. Me personally, I don't want to go anywhere where I'm not welcome. Okay, that's why, honey, when Jim Crow was going on with the fight for civil rights, baby, when I tell you I would not have been fighting for civil rights, when I tell you I would not have been out there doing a single march, when I tell you I probably would have gone in on Dr. King, because why the hell do y'all want to be places and spaces where they don't even want you, where you're not even welcome? Honey, why do you want to eat in their restaurants where they don't even want to serve you? What they going to do, spit in your food, drop it on the floor, and then put it on the plate and serve it to you? None of it ever made a bit of sense to me. None of it. Okay? FBA Justice says, family, Tim America is not a racist country. Okay, Scott, right? He did say that his silly self, Uncle Tim, is silent while Trump stomps on his so-called rural minority business plan. Okay, he does in South Carolina. Okay, yeah, he don't have nothing to say. He sure don't. Okay, not a damn thing. Where is he at now? All right, please pay attention, honey. Thank you for your contribution to the channel and your insight into the topic, beloved. Peace, love, and blessings. DSB said, I'm going to be real. I'm going to be real. Damn the Pope and anything that replaces his wicked behavior. DSB, no, you didn't. DSB. Oh, honey, I'm glad you said it because I couldn't. I'm glad you said it, honey, because I was afraid to, even though I tried to hit around to it, honey. Okay, I didn't want what happened to Sinead O'Connor to happen to me. Remember how they blackballed Sinead O'Connor when she ripped up the Pope's picture back in the day? Honey, that's what I'm trying to tell you, honey. I don't fool with the Vatican at all under any stretch of anybody's imagination. Okay, I know it really goes down. Okay, that's all I'm saying. Thank you for that tidbit of information, beloved. I agree with you, and thank you for your contribution to the channel. Peace, love, and blessings, honey. I don't know why. For the life of me, I don't know why those black folk, why those Africans wanted to go there anyway. Okay, and then you're not even welcome, honey. Please turn around and leave. Don't fuss. Don't go away mad. Just go away. Okay, just go away, honey. Don't want to beg to be somewhere where you're not welcome or wanted. It's all crazy. Absolutely crazy. Okay, so anyway, so a judge blocks Trump's effort to expand proof of citizenship requirement for voter registration. Let's talk about it. Okay, so a federal judge has halted parts of an executive order signed by President Donald Trump that sought to boost requirements that Americans show documents proving their citizenship when registering to vote. But I thought he said we weren't going to have to vote no more. Isn't that what he said? Y'all elect me, won't have to vote again. Lying self. Now, Senior District Judge Colleen Catelli blocked a Trump directive in the order that the requirement be added to a federal voter registration form that is available for most Americans to use. Here's what she said. Our Constitution entrusts Congress and the states, not the president, with the authority to regulate federal elections. See, this is the thing. Trump doesn't even know his place. Okay, he keeps trying to do things that Congress is in charge of. He seems to think that everything is his business and he does everything and whatever he says goes. Damn Congress, damn the Constitution, damn anybody else but him. That seems to be what he thinks. Okay, so consistent with the allocation of power, Congress is currently debating legislation that would affect many of the changes the president purports to order. Now, and no statutory delegation of authority to the executive branch permits the president to short-circuit Congress's deliberative process by executive order. Because didn't I tell y'all that yesterday? This damn fool don't even know what he's supposed to be doing, that he's out here trying to do stuff that Congress is allowed to do, not him. The judge is also pausing a separate provision in the executive order that would require federal agencies that offer registration opportunities to assess a person's citizenship before providing a person a voter registration form. Kohler Cotelli, a Bill Clinton appointee who sits in Washington, D.C., is considering cases filed by nonpartisan groups, including voting rights organizations, as well as a lawsuit brought by several entities of the Democratic Party. Now, the challengers in the cases before her targeted other parts of the executive order, including its provisions aimed at punishing states that count mail ballots that arrive in a certain period after the election. Okay, he don't want them counted if it comes after. Okay, the judge said that she was not blocking those provisions yet because the challengers' arguments were procedurally premature or because they're more squarely in front of other courts that are reviewing lawsuits filed by states challenging the executive order. Okay, honey, this is Trump's world. We just all squirrels trying to get a nut. Please pay attention. Please pay attention. Okay, now with that all being said, let's talk about this retired general, what he had to say about Pete Hegseth's chat leaks. Okay, at the end of the day, honey, Trump is just a whole fool. All right, Leon said, "Where's Clinton?" Okay, where's anybody? Where's anybody to help us? Where's anybody to help get us out of the hole that Trump is clearly putting us in? Honey, this is all crazy. All right, all crazy. Now hold on for a second because I'm waiting for this to load. While it's loading, let's talk about this reporter. This reporter says that Elon and Bassett got into a whole argument. Reporter describes heated arguments. Okay, I'm gonna share my screen. Says reporter describes heated argument between Musk and Bassett at White House. Honey, y'all up here arguing at the White House? What's really going on?
Conflict has been brewing for quite some time between Scott Bessent and Elon Musk. Musk didn't want Bessent, for instance, to be Treasury Secretary during the transition. Obviously, Bessent prevailed. As Doge under Musk started to kick into high gear, they had a few conflicts over staffing at Treasury. And then most recently, Scott Bessent wanted his pick to be the IRS commissioner. Elon Musk had his pick installed. Bessent then raised the issue with President Trump and said that Elon Musk had gone behind his back. And this all sort of boiled over on Thursday when Bessent confronted Musk about it, and a shouting match and the F-bombs ensued. They were apparently face-to-face, chest-to-chest. There was some yelling going on.
It's an honor to have the Prime Minister of Italy with us.
At the time, Giorgia Meloni, the Prime Minister from Italy, was meeting with Trump in the Oval Office. And from what we're told, the arguing and the yelling could be heard or was within earshot of the Prime Minister when she was meeting with Trump, while Bessent was telling Musk, F you. Musk was then taunting him, saying, say it louder, as in, let them hear it as you're losing your cool.
Look, there are disagreements amongst the president's staff and cabinet sometimes, but we think that's part of the healthy debate process. And everybody knows that ultimately President Trump is the decision maker.
Girl, sit down somewhere with your lying arse. Do y'all hear this bullshit? Do you all hear this bullshit? First of all, I'm calling BS. Okay, she's sitting there trying to act like, oh, this is just a normal debate. There's disagreement sometimes. Well, honey, this is all ghetto as hell. Okay, imagine Trump, the president of the United States, is sitting there having a business meeting with important officials while Elon and Bessent are arguing like fools in the next room. Okay? Out there arguing like complete idiots. All right, this is all so ghetto. This is ratchet. Okay, this is what we have going on. And we know it's ratchet because Elon has 14 kids with all these baby mamas. Okay? Trump's wife is a former corn model. All right? Then you have Hegseth, who was just somebody that they let on Fox News every now and then to tell lies, in my opinion. And all of these people are just supposed to be more competent than DEI hires? Yeah, I don't think so. Okay, I don't think so. Now, with that all being said, let's talk about go to the general, the retired general, and what he said, or retired admiral, and what he had to say about Pete Hegseth's lying arse, because he's still sitting up here trying to lie and act like he didn't do a darn thing wrong. Huh? This is all crazy. Oh, crazy.
Emphasize the importance of facing a crisis head on when it comes to you, and how you respond in that moment and what that looks like. And I saw that you said that if you don't, it could deteriorate the situation even further. Do you think that is something that's happening right now, whether it's from the way the Pentagon is handling this or the White House in terms of just addressing it head on?
Yeah, absolutely. At the end of the day, the truth always comes out. So every leader, when they're in a crisis, particularly when a crisis may be of your own making, you need to confront it head on. You need to be honest. You need to be honest with the rank and file. You need to be honest with your bosses. And the quicker that you come forward with the truth, the quicker you're going to identify what the problems are and begin to solve them. And you have to have a little swagger. You have to have a little confidence. But once again, you better have a little humility going into a job like this, because if you don't, it's going to humble you pretty quickly.
Yeah, and on page 84 of your book, you write, and I want to quote now from it, you say, use truth and transparency through the crisis to show that you understand the problem and that you're taking concrete steps to resolve the issue. It may be uncomfortable, demoralizing, and personally embarrassing, but deception and opaqueness are a whole lot worse. One thing in terms of how this is being handled is they haven't seemed to really acknowledge using a platform like Signal to share information. They argue it's not classified. We've heard other people say attack plans are classified. I just wonder what you mean and what you see in terms of how that's been handled.
Yeah, it has not been handled well. I mean, we got to be honest about this. Clearly, the information that was broadcast on Signal was classified. Now, they weren't war plans, and I think this is a little bit of the nuance of the wording, is Secretary Hegseth has said, we haven't divulged war plans. Well, war plans in a military context, as you know, Caitlin, this is the plan to invade Iraq or something broad and strategic like that. But make no mistake about it, these were operational plans with operational details. They were classified. But you'll also recognize that there was not a single uniformed person on any of those Signal chats, because I have no doubt that had there been a military officer on those chats, they would have said, Mr. Secretary, it's a bad idea using this. We need to go to our secure network to be able to talk. Back again to my point about the Council of Colonels. Secretary Hegseth, surround yourself with people that, yes, you can trust, but people that will tell you the truth. And then you as the secretary, you as the leader of this remarkable organization, get out there, tell the truth, accept responsibility so you can get past this crisis. If you don't do that, it's going to drag on for a long time.
Honey, they're not going to tell the truth. They're going to do anything but tell the truth, honey, please. What are you talking about? They're all just liars who lie, and they will continue to lie, okay? And the fact that they said that that wasn't classified information, are they that stupid? Are they that stupid? Do they not think that military attacks and the strategy is classified information? Maybe they don't. Maybe they think that, no, it's not a big deal because they already know it's a war going on. They know there's going to be attacks. Why do we need to tell them anything? Why do we need to hide anything? This isn't classified. What? These people are stupid. DSB says, may the Most High continue to bless you, my warrior sister. Keep up the amazing work. Thank you, beloved. I really appreciate your kind words. And thank you for your contribution to the channel. Peace, love, and blessings for all that you do. Now, let's go to this video where Bolton talks about Trump and said that his favorite is Putin. Because Trump said that he doesn't have any favorites. He doesn't play favorites. Well, of course he does. Please pay attention.
And Ambassador, when you hear what the president said about not having favorites here, obviously you served as his national security advisor. I just wonder what you make of that.
Well, of course he's got favorites, and his favorite is not Russia. His favorite is Vladimir Putin, whom he thinks is his friend. Trump has already made major concessions to the Russians. He has said weeks and months ago that he would not support Ukraine being restored to its full sovereignty and territorial integrity, which is a rejection of the U.S. position and the NATO position going back to February 24th, 2022, when the Russians invaded. Trump has said that Ukraine will never become a member of NATO, which is a rejection of the U.S. position since 2008 when George W. Bush first advocated. He said that there will be no NATO security guarantees. This basically lays down central elements of what Russia already wants. And that has affected the negotiations, which, by the way, have been more about a ceasefire than a permanent peace settlement. A permanent deal is a long way away.
But what do you make of everything you just laid out there still hasn't resulted in a ceasefire? Why do you think that is?
Because that amounts to surrender for Ukraine. These are the Russian positions that then give them the basis after they regroup and rebuild their army for the third invasion of Ukraine, to finish what Putin and the Kremlin began back in 2005, announcing it publicly to the world that they were about recreating the Russian Empire. And that includes, critically, getting control of Ukraine. This Trump approach to Russia, I think, is a critical mistake for the United States. This will be one of the biggest reversals of policy in history. It will have ramifications for American national security all over the world. And as Trump says, he doesn't really care about it. He just wants to do it to get the war behind him. That's all he really cares about.
When choosing the right gear to cut, trim,
I'm going to have to agree. That's all Trump cares about. Trump is full of crap, okay? And notice he said that Trump thinks that Putin is his friend, okay? He said Trump thinks that Putin is his friend. But here's the thing. Trump right now has the lowest approval rating of any president ever. But if you ask him, he would say that it was Biden or Obama. But in fact, he has the lowest approval rating ever, okay? Please pay attention. Okay, I find it all so nefarious at the end of the day, honey. Now, Measure Man says, no pun intended, but this administration are low functional ADHD trust fund babies. Do they remember what they ran on? So glad I keep Jesus on the main line telling him what I want. Not Jesus on the main line, honey. I know that's right, honey. Trump and the rest of them fools, they don't even know who Jesus is, honey. Okay, please pay attention. As a matter of fact, they probably think Trump is Jesus, honey. This is all crazy. I mean, they're just bowing down, kissing the ring like they worship his dumb ass, letting him tell all these nefarious lies and break all these constitutional laws. Okay, please pay attention.
Fox News poll at 100 days job approval compared to other presidents. There you see the president at 44%, and you see his first term at 45% at this mark, the 100-day mark. We have other new polls that are revealing some concerns about the economy. Let's talk about that. Look at our new Fox News poll at 100 days job approval compared to other presidents.
So y'all heard that, honey. Trump has the lowest approval rating in the history of presidents, child. This is all nefarious. So you mean to tell me his approval rating is even worse than George Washington's? And now the reason I say George Washington, because he was the first president, honey. And so he didn't have anything to go on. He had to figure it all out for himself, clearly. Okay. Even though he was nefarious as hell, I'm just saying, using them slaves' teeth and all that for his own false teeth and all that stuff. I can go on for days. But the bottom line is, what I'm saying is, honey, Trump is the worst president in the history of presidents. In the history of presidents. You mean to tell me they think Trump is worse than Gerald Ford? Honey, you got to be terrible if you're worse than Gerald Ford and Richard Nixon, honey. Please pay attention to your name. Okay, so that's what it is. I'm about to be up out of here, but before I do, I thought y'all might want to know this. Y'all need to know this information because I found this to be so egregious. Now listen to this. This lady, hold on. This lady is bragging about something that I just find so ridiculous. Like, why are you bragging about this again? This lady got kicked out of the church at a funeral. And here's why. Okay, let this serve as a cautionary tale to some of y'all freaks out there.
Oh, they kicked me out the funeral because I kissed my baby daddy. What makes you think I'm not going to kiss my baby daddy before he died? What makes you think I'm not going to kiss my baby daddy? I mean, not before he died, but what makes you think I'm not going to kiss my baby daddy before he go lay down in the grave? Or whatever going to happen to him? What makes you think I ain't going to kiss that so he can remember? Babe, everybody better be happy I ain't pull his pants down and start. and start choking. I was ready to live. We finna get a busted right here in the.
She's just sick. I'm sorry, honey. I can't with some people. Did y'all hear that? Did y'all hear that? And she said it with pride. What is wrong with people? Okay, she said that she walked up in that church at the funeral of her children's father and kissed his cucumber. She said she kissed his cucumber and then was shocked and appalled when they kicked her out. Nope. Y'all heard it, right? And then said they better be glad she didn't pull them things down and then go ahead and, honey, what in the hell is wrong with people? Like, this is just ungodly. It's ghastly. Okay? Queen Stan said, what the F is wrong with folks? Anna Snow said, I came back into what in the heck? Okay, this is all sick. Pretty Wing said, not freaking off on the dead. Yes, that's what she said. Okay, retired federal officer Carol Banks said, ghetto, unhinged. It absolutely is, honey. Sick arse people out there. Measurement said, I'm done. As if Shannon and his shenanigans ain't enough. Honey, I'm done too. Okay, with that all being said, everyone please like and share this video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to double check and make sure you're still subscribed, beloveds, especially if you've not been receiving notifications. And if you find that you have been unsubscribed and have to resubscribe, please be sure that you reset the notifications, okay? To turn the notifications back on. You have to do that if you have to resubscribe, all right? So anyway, I love you all to life. I hope you all enjoyed the broadcast. I will see you all in the morning, bright and early for your morning wake-up call. Okay, and so with that all being said, I'm about to be up out of here. DSB says, no, don't do that to me when I am gone, or you're going to get worse judgments. Okay? Why would somebody even think to do that? And you know there was children there too, I'm sure. Okay, it's a funeral. Okay? Maybe her own children were even there. This is all sick. This lady is crazy as hell. Honey, I am so ashamed. I am so ashamed, honey, at some of our folks. Okay, anyway, thank you, DSB, beloved, for your contribution to the channel, your contributions to the channel. All right. With that all being said, thank you all for tuning in. I hope you all enjoy the broadcast, and I will see you all in the morning for your morning wake-up call. Okay, until then, each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember, beloveds, to keep the Most High first in your lives. Peace.
Hey, yo, Nick, hit him with that flavor. All in my skin, God all in my blood. Kings all in my circle, you touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen, why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunta. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. That's See right. A bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all at Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threats. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood. Kings all in my circle, you touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood. Kings all in my circle, you touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans, and I got